My producer at the time took me to the studio one day all alone. He knew I was early and fragile in my sobriety, but he encouraged me to drink, and I did to the point of intoxication. He then tried to take advantage of me. He kissed me without permission, and I couldn't get out of the situation. There was pain and loneliness in my life that not even drugs could fix. I tried almost every single drug you can think of and lost everything I had. I've been to jail, psych wards, and rehabs. I've slept on the street, and now I can tell you that the one thing that saved me was love, real love.
Leah Marie Johnson is an internet child star who was sucked into the Hollywood machine. She went through it these last few years, in and out of rehab, finding herself in jail or on the streets. But now she's back and she's ready to tell her story. So let's get into it. We need to talk about YouTube child star turned singer Leah Marie Johnson. She originally appeared in Kids React, which was a YouTube channel where children would react to things. She gained fame that way and became a YouTube creator and then started getting into music. But now she's sharing her story and how drugs derailed her life and how love has now saved her. She posted a YouTube video titled "This Is My Story," which has over 2 million views. She's opening up about her experience with substance issues, and her story is heart-wrenching. She shares that she's tried almost every single drug you could think of, and she's lost everything. She's been to jail, psych wards, rehabs. She has slept on the streets, and the only thing that saved her has been love.
I tried almost every single drug you can think of and lost everything I had. I've been to jail, psych wards, and rehabs. I've slept on the street, and now I can tell you that the one thing that saved me was love, real love.
I definitely encourage you guys to go and check out Leah's story. She shares about the pain and loneliness she had in her life and how drugs were her only avenue. She attempted to take her life at some point, and she went to a group therapy, but once she was out, she fell back into her old habits. Despite going to rehab, Leah found herself in rehab again at 21, and around that time, she found herself in a relationship with another abusive partner who left her with bruises. So you guys need to go and watch the video, but there's a few parts I need to bring up because people are talking about them. I'm going to play this clip where she describes a point when she was very young and one of her partners harmed her. They tried to strangle her. She shares this and people question who she may be talking about.
I was in a relationship with someone who I thought I loved, but even that changed when he put his hands on me and strangled me. I was so young I didn't know what to do or how to speak up, so I stayed quiet. I don't think I ever told anyone. There was pain and loneliness in my life that not even drugs could fix.
Like I mentioned earlier, she started as a child on a channel called Kids React. Then she graduated into her own YouTube career, and she was one of those YouTubers who were friends with other YouTubers and even dated a YouTuber named JC Kalen. I've actually seen JC before. He's all over YouTube. I believe he also runs a reality show called the Reality House on YouTube. So he's been on the platform for a very long time, and once upon a time they dated back in 2014. He is currently 30 and Leah is 26. So I was trying to figure out how old they were when they dated, because if he was an adult and she was a minor and he like strangled her, that would be very illegal. But after doing the math, it looks like they were both adults when they dated for 2 years back in 2014. But if he did end up getting physical with her, that's obviously against the law, and he could have gone to jail for 2, 3, or 4 years. I'm not entirely sure when this could have happened. Statute of limitations, who really knows? It doesn't seem like Leah's trying to go after him for this, but if this was JC, that's really shocking to a lot of people who watch him because he doesn't seem like that type. Now, there's another part of Leah's story I want to address, because once upon a time, I used to talk about Leah's story on my channel, my last channel. I think back in like 2018, 2019, when everything was going down, she was actually one of the first stories I ever spoke about in this format, because I've always made YouTube videos, but not like, commentary videos. But when it came to Leah and Young Sweet Row, they both caught my attention and I spoke about them because I was genuinely worried about Leah, and we were rightfully so. Here's an article breaking down a situation that I want to talk about and that Leah addresses here, because there was a time where she went on Instagram Live, which she went on Instagram Live a lot, and that's where we saw a lot of the drug use and things like this. But this one in particular really speaks to Hollywood. So there's a music producer named Steven. This guy's like in his 60s, and I guess he's been working with Leah ever since she was young. And she actually went on Instagram Live one time when she was intoxicated after being sober, and they were kissing. She kind of did this as a cry for help, and I think it's really interesting that like this stuff happens so often in Hollywood, and like it's blatantly happening in front of us, and at the time we were told it was nothing, but it really was something.
Soon after this, my producer at the time took me to the studio one day all alone. He knew I was early and fragile in my sobriety, but he encouraged me to drink, and I did to the point of intoxication. He then tried to take advantage of me. He kissed me without permission, and I couldn't get out of the situation, and I was scared something more would happen if I didn't reach out for help. So I did an Instagram Live, and he was caught. However, it did cause further damage to what people thought of me, and again was misconstrued publicly.
So let's back it up a little bit, because this story's messed up and this Steven guy's probably still out here. So it all happened on January 2nd. She went live and appeared intoxicated. She was drinking wine in the video, and there was a man's voice in the background. Then Leah appeared to be kissing him while the man reached around and grabbed her neck. Then the man repeatedly asked Leah if she was on Instagram, which she denied. He made a comment about hijacking her phone to get back to the US. Then after realized that Leah was live streaming, his face briefly appeared on camera before he disabled the video. So we got to figure out who this was, which it's Steven. But then Leah went on live later on that day and told her fans not to bring police, do not send anyone to her address. She does not need help from this man. But once we saw his face, we were able to figure out who he is, and it turns out that he had been working with Leah Marie Johnson since 2012, since she was 15, and he helped her produce her song Moonflower, which was about the like tragic relationship she previously had. So it's really messed up that this guy is like, you know, leeching on to a vulnerable person like Leah. It does seem like these two are still on good terms, because when that song Moonflower came out, Leah did publicly thank him on Instagram. But I don't know. I thought he would have been like blacklisted, or I don't know. I can't imagine that type of relationship. Like, how do you go back and like be friendly with this person? But you know, I don't know. The industry is really a weird place. Now I want to talk to you guys about Ryan, because Leah dated a guy named Ryan who was also into music, and she actually made a full music video dedicated to him because he unfortunately took his own life, which is something that she does address in this video.
Losing him is one of the hardest realities I've ever had to face. I know he's at peace now, but I still miss him. When he passed, I blacked out for a few days. When I woke up, I was in a rehab facility, but I ended up in the hospital shortly after. I then went to 2 more rehabs that kicked me out because of my reckless behavior.
Losing Ryan was one of those moments Leah had where she, I guess, kind of woke up. At least it seemed from that moment. I mean, she obviously went like into a psychosis and ended up in rehab, but like it really was one of those last blows that forced her to, I guess, realize that like her life was worth living. And that takes a lot of power, because tons of people give up every single day, but she ultimately didn't. And she created this beautiful song and like piece, this video in dedication to Ryan. And I want to play a clip from it. I encourage you guys to go and check that one out as well, because it makes me sad every time I see it. But here's her video. It's kind of like Lana Del Rey-esque, which I really appreciate.
He introduced himself to me in a liquor store in Ocean Beach one beautiful summer day. Grinning a wicked smile through a puff of a cigarette, I smiled back.
Every time I see that video, I get so emotional because it's so real and so well done. And I have a feeling her new music is going to be great as well, because she's gone through so much that there's a lot people can relate to. And I hope everyone takes this Leah Marie Johnson story as a learning lesson, because There's a lot of YouTube kids out there. They're going to be growing up, and we're going to see more and more internet celebrity kids, going through struggles when they enter their early 20s and they have no support. So I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. Leave your thoughts. Here's my email if you have any other video ideas for me, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.